Krell's warships held their position, weapons still charged but not firing. The silence stretched across space, tense and fragile. Daewon watched the Vask commander's face on the screen, seeing the calculations happening behind those reptilian eyes. Attack and become the villains the broadcast claimed them to be, or retreat and admit weakness. "We will not forget this insult," Krell finally said. "The Vask Dominion does not forgive." "Then don't forgive," Daewon said. "But recognize reality. The galaxy knows your truth now. How you handle that truth determines whether your empire survives." The transmission cut out. The Vask fleet powered down weapons and began withdrawing. It wasn't surrender, not exactly, but it was acknowledgement. For now, that was enough. Velthara swayed, her light dimming. Hana caught her as she fell. "I'm fine," the Lumini said weakly. "Just tired. Protecting 3 worlds simultaneously is difficult, even with your technology helping me." "Rest," Yuna said. "We've got this now." But the situation was far from over. Within hours, communication requests flooded in from across the galaxy. Some species wanted to thank Velthara for her ancient protection. Others wanted to condemn the Vask. Many simply wanted to understand what was happening. The galaxy had been shaken, and now everyone wanted to know what came next. Ambassador Taemin organized a conference on Earth, inviting representatives from dozens of civilizations. The location was symbolic, chosen because humans had been the ones to free Velthara, to stand up to the Vask when others feared to act. The conference took place in Geneva, in a hall built for human diplomacy but now hosting alien species of every description. Daewon attended, along with Hana and Yuna. They sat in a gallery watching as Velthara stood before the assembled representatives, telling her story in full. She spoke of the Lumini, of their philosophy of protection without domination. She described the Vask's rise, their demand that she help them conquer, her refusal. She showed them memories of her imprisonment, 3,000 years of darkness and silence. Many in the audience wept regardless of their species, but not all responses were sympathetic. A Vask representative stood, a female named Selnis. She was younger than Krell, her scales a brighter shade of green. "What Velthara says is true," Selnis said. "I have accessed our oldest archives, the ones kept secret by the high executors. Our empire was built on a crime. We murdered the Lumini and called it justice. We imprisoned their last survivor and called her a threat. I am ashamed of what my ancestors did." Murmurs ran through the chamber. A Vask admitting fault was unprecedented. "But I must ask," Selnis continued, "what happens now? Do we face punishment for crimes committed millennia ago? Do innocent Vask living today pay for ancient sins?" Velthara was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice carried no anger, only sadness. "I do not seek vengeance. Vengeance would not bring back my people. It would only create new suffering. What I seek is truth and change. Acknowledge what was done. Teach your children the real history. Transform your empire from one built on conquest to one built on cooperation." "And if we cannot?" Selnis asked. "If the old powers in our government refuse to change? Then that is a choice your people must make. But know this: the galaxy is watching now. The days of hiding behind lies are over. What you build from this moment forward will define whether the Vask Dominion continues or collapses under the weight of its own dishonesty." Selnis bowed deeply, a gesture of respect. "I will carry your words to my people. Some will listen, some will not, but I will try." Other species spoke, sharing their own experiences with the Vask, with other empires, with the challenges of building a galaxy where the strong didn't always prey on the weak. The conference lasted for 3 days, and by the end, something remarkable had formed, a new galactic council, built on the principle that all species deserved a voice, not just the powerful ones. Velthara was asked to lead it, but she declined. "I am grateful, but no," she said. "I have been alone too long. I need time to simply exist, to learn how to be part of a community again. But I will help. I will share my knowledge, protect those who need protection, guide those who seek guidance. That is what the Lumini always did. That is what I choose to continue doing. Then who should lead? Someone asked. Velthara gestured to the human delegation. These people. Not because they are perfect, but because they understand something essential. They freed me not knowing what I could offer them. They risked everything for a stranger. That is the kind of thinking this new council needs. Not calculation of advantage, but moral courage. Ambassador Taemin looked shocked. We're barely past our first century in space. We're not ready to lead a galactic council. You underestimate yourselves, Velthara said. Humans have flaws, yes. You are sometimes violent, often confused, frequently arguing among yourselves. But you also possess something rare, the ability to see individuals rather than just categories. You treated me as a person, not as a goddess or a weapon or a thing. That perspective is what this galaxy needs. The vote was close, but humanity was chosen to host the new council, with Taemin as its first coordinator. Not leader, coordinator. The distinction mattered. This would be a council of equals, or as equal as species with vastly different powers could be. As the conference ended, Daiwan, Hana, and Yuna found themselves walking through Geneva with Velthara. She had dimmed her light to avoid attracting attention, appearing almost human in the evening darkness. What will you do now? Hana asked. The galaxy is open to you. You could go anywhere. I will stay near Earth, Velthara said. Your moon has a suitable location for a sanctuary. I will build there, a place of learning and reflection. Any who seek knowledge or protection can come to me. And I will continue studying you humans. You fascinate me. We're not that interesting, Yuna said. You are, though. Most species, when they gain power, become corrupt. They see strength as permission to take. But humans, for all your flaws, keep questioning that assumption. You keep trying to do better. That gives me hope for the future. They walked in comfortable silence for a while, just four beings enjoying the evening air. Around them, Geneva bustled with activity. Humans and aliens mixing freely now. The barriers of centuries breaking down in days. Thank you, Velthara said suddenly. For freeing me. For treating me as a friend. For showing me that hope is not foolish. I spent 3,000 years in darkness and you gave me back the light. You gave us something too, Daewon said. You showed us what we could be. Not perfect, but trying. Not all-powerful, but willing to stand up for what's right anyway. Months passed. The new Galactic Council met regularly on Earth, working through the complex problems of dozens of species trying to cooperate. It wasn't easy. There were arguments, misunderstandings, occasional threats. But slowly, it worked. The habit of talking before fighting began to spread. The vast Dominion went through upheaval. Krell was arrested by his own people, charged with endangering their species through his reckless actions. Selnus led a reform movement, pushing for the Vask to acknowledge their history and change their ways. It was painful, divisive work. Many Vask refused to accept the truth. But enough did that change became possible. Velthara built her sanctuary on Earth's moon, a structure of flowing crystal and light that seemed to shift with the observer's thoughts. Students came from across the galaxy to learn from her. She taught science, philosophy, the arts of healing and protection. She never taught weapons, never shared knowledge of destruction. That was not the Lumini way. Hana became one of her first students, learning the deeper secrets of reality that the Lumini had mastered. Yuna worked on integrating Lumini knowledge with human technology, creating tools that served life rather than took it. Daewon returned to exploration, but now as humanity's ambassador to unknown regions, always looking for new species to welcome into the growing galactic community. One evening, Daewon visited Velthara at her lunar sanctuary. He found her standing in a garden she had created, filled with plants from 100 worlds. She was teaching a group of young beings, different species, showing them how to grow things in harmony. When the lesson ended, she walked with him to a viewing platform. Earth hung in the sky above them, blue and beautiful and alive. Do you ever regret it? Daewon asked. 3,000 years of imprisonment, all because you refused to help the Vask conquer. Was it worth it? Velthara considered the question seriously. The imprisonment was terrible. There were moments when I despaired, when I thought I would remain there until the universe ended. But I did not regret my choice. If I had helped the Vask, if I had used my power to enable their conquests, I would have betrayed everything the Lumini stood for. I would have survived, but I would not have been alive. Not truly. And now? Now I am more alive than I have been in millennia. I have friends. I have purpose. I have students who will carry forward the Lumini legacy of protection and wisdom. The Vask destroyed my species, but they did not destroy what we represented. That lives on here in this new council, in these young beings learning to build rather than destroy. She turned to look at him, her eyes like distant stars. You humans did that. You could have left me in that prison. You could have handed me over to save yourselves, but you chose differently. Humans tried to kill her. 23. Seconds later, she stood triumphant. The word hung in the air like a threat. Hana stood there, broken and bleeding, but standing. The Vryn mechs didn't move. They seemed frozen, unable to process what they were seeing. Thelvar recovered first. His mech took a step back. "Kill her!" he screamed through the speakers. "Kill her now!" Hana's hand shot to her chest plate. Her fingers found the emergency panel. Every piece of human military armor had one. A last resort. It would overclock every system in the suit. Give her enhanced strength and speed for 5 minutes. Maybe less with the damage her armor had taken. But it would also burn out the suit completely. After those 5 minutes, the armor would be dead weight. She pressed the button. Power surged through the dying armor. Her medical display came online for a second, showed her injury list, then flickered out. Didn't matter. She knew what was wrong with her. Broken ribs, fractured arm, burns across her back, internal bleeding, punctured lung. The list went on. But for 5 minutes she could ignore all of it. The first mech fired. Hana was already moving. She dove behind the burning wreck of her vehicle as plasma bolts chewed up the ground where she had been standing. Her hand closed around a plasma rifle. It had belonged to Jiwon. She pulled it free from the wreckage. "For you," she whispered. Then she came up firing. The rifle bucked in her hands. Blue plasma bolts streaked across the plaza. She aimed for the weak points. Every mech had them. Joints where the armor was thinner. Sensor arrays that couldn't be heavily armored. Weapon cooling vents. Her first 3 shots took out a mech's knee joint. The machine stumbled, tried to compensate. Hana put her next shot through its cockpit viewport. The mech went dark and crashed to the ground. 1 down. 24 to go. "Spread out," Thelvar ordered. "Use your numbers. She is 1 damaged human." But the plaza's layout worked against them. The mechs were big. 12 meters of metal and weapons. They needed space to maneuver. The abandoned buildings, the rubble from the explosions, the burning vehicles. All of it created obstacles. Hana ran. Her armor's enhanced speed made her a blur. She sprinted toward the nearest building, plasma fire following her. The wall exploded as she dove through a window. Glass shattered around her. She hit the floor inside, rolled, came up running. The building was old, empty. Metal support beams crossed the space. Perfect. A mech appeared outside the window. It raised its arm. The plasma cannon began to charge. Hana shot the support beam above her. The metal beam broke. The ceiling started to collapse. She ran deeper into the building as tons of concrete crashed down behind her. The mech's plasma shot went wild, hitting the ceiling instead. More debris fell, burying the machine. 2 down. Hana burst out the back of the building. 3 mechs were waiting. They had circled around, trying to trap her. Smart. They were learning. She didn't slow down. Ran straight at them. They fired. She slid under their shots, her armor's speed letting her move faster than they could track. Came up between 2 mechs. They tried to adjust their aim. Couldn't. They were too close to shoot her without hitting each other. Hana shot the first one's ammunition feed. The mech's own missiles cooked off inside its storage. It exploded from the inside. The blast knocked the second mech sideways. Hana ran up its falling body, using it as a ramp. Jumped. Landed on the third mech's shoulder. Pressed her rifle against its cockpit and fired until the pilot stopped moving. 4 down. She jumped clear as the mech fell. Hit the ground running. Her timer showed 2 minutes of enhanced power left. She had to make them count. More mechs were converging on her position. She ran into a narrow alley between 2 buildings. The mechs followed, but they couldn't fit through side by side. Had to come single file. That meant she only faced one at a time. The first mech squeezed into the alley. Hana shot out a support column. The building above groaned, started to tilt. The mech tried to back up, but 2 more were behind it, blocked in. The building collapsed on all 3 of them. Hana was already running out the other end of the alley. 7 down, 18 left. Pain lanced through her chest. Her punctured lung was getting worse. Every breath was harder than the last. Blood filled her mouth. She spat it out and kept running. A mech stepped out in front of her. No time to dodge. It swung its massive arm at her. Hana dropped flat. The arm passed over her head. She shot its ankle joint. The mech fell forward. She rolled aside as it crashed face first into the ground. Put 3 shots through the back of its cockpit, 8 down. Her display showed 1 minute left. 60 seconds. After that, she would be just a wounded human in dead armor. Against 17 war mechs, she needed a better plan. Through the smoke and chaos, Hana saw it. One of the damaged mechs. The one she had hit first. It wasn't completely dead, just crippled. Its weapon systems were still online. She ran for it. Plasma fire followed her. A bolt hit her shoulder. The armor held but barely. Warning lights flashed across her display. Armor integrity at 15%. Another hit would punch through. Hana reached the damaged mech, climbed up its side. The cockpit hatch was open. The Vryn pilot was dead. She pulled him out. His body hit the ground with a wet sound. She climbed into the pilot seat. The controls were designed for Vryn hands. Bigger than human, but close enough. Her fingers found the weapon triggers. The targeting system came online. Through the mech's sensors, she could see the others. They had stopped shooting. Probably confused about why she had climbed into a dead mech. Surprise, Hana whispered. She fired everything. Plasma cannons, missiles. The damaged mech shook from the recoil. Her shots caught 3 mechs by surprise. They went down in flames, 11 down, 14 left. The other mechs returned fire. Her stolen mech's shields absorbed the first volley. The second volley burned through. Plasma hit the cockpit. Warning alarm screamed. The mech was dying. Hana jumped clear just before it exploded. The blast threw her 30 meters. She hit a wall hard enough to crack it, slid down. Her armor made a terrible grinding noise, then went silent. The power was gone. Her 5 minutes were up. Hana tried to stand. Her legs wouldn't support her. The armor was too heavy now. Dead weight. She triggered the emergency release. The armor pieces fell away, left her in just her undersuit. Blood soaked through the fabric. 14 mechs remained. They formed a circle around her. She had no armor, no enhanced strength. Her rifle was out of charge. She had nothing left but her knife and her determination. Thelvar's mech stepped forward. It stopped 10 meters away. The cockpit hatch opened. Thelvar climbed out. He wore combat armor, elite Vryn warrior gear. In one hand he carried a plasma blade. "I underestimated you," he said. "I thought you were just a stubborn human. But you are more than that. You are dangerous." Hana pulled out her knife. It looked tiny compared to his blade. She knew this was stupid. Knew she couldn't win this fight. Her body was broken. She could barely stand. But she stood anyway. "That is why this must be personal," Thelvar continued. He ordered his mechs to stand down. "I will face you, warrior to warrior. When I kill you with my own hands, your people will know that their symbol of hope died like any other soldier." "You talk too much," Hana said. She threw her knife. It wasn't a killing throw. Couldn't be, not with her injured arm. But it made Thelvar flinch, made him bring his blade up to deflect it. In that moment of distraction, Hana moved. She ran at him. Every step sent pain through her body. But she ran anyway. Closed the distance before he could recover. His plasma blade came down. She rolled under it, came up inside his guard. Her fist hit his helmet. The impact broke 2 of her fingers, but it also cracked his visor. Thelvar swung at her. His armored fist hit her ribs. She felt more bones break. Got thrown backward, hit the ground, tasted blood again. Above her, the sky was darkening. No, not darkening. Something was blocking the sun. Multiple somethings. Drop pods. Human drop pods. Coming down like meteors. Thelvar saw them too. His head snapped up. No, he said. Hana smiled through bloody teeth. Yes. The pods hit the ground all around the plaza. 23 of them. 1 for each second she had been dead. The hatches blew open. Marines poured out. Human Marines. Armed and angry. Now, Hana whispered again. Now you learn why you can't break us. Humans tried to kill her. 23 seconds later, she stood triumphant. The drop pods hit the ground like thunder. The impact shook the plaza. Dust and debris flew into the air. Before it settled, the hatches exploded outward. Marines in full combat armor emerged from each pod, weapons already firing. Captain Borum came out of the lead pod. She took one look at the situation and started barking orders. Defensive formation around Captain Hana. Nari, get to her now. Everyone else, light them up. The Marines moved like a well-oiled machine. They had trained together, fought together. And they all knew who Hana was. What she meant to the human military. They would die before letting the Vryn finish her. 2 Marines reached Hana first. Sora grabbed her under one arm. Unyo took the other. They pulled her away from Thelvar as plasma fire erupted around them. The Vryn mechs were shooting at the Marines now. The Marines shot back. I can walk, Hana said. Blood ran from her mouth. Sure you can, Sora replied. But you don't have to. They carried her to the center of their defensive circle. Combat medic Nari was already there. Medical kit open. She took one look at Hana and her eyes went wide. How are you alive? Nari asked. Stubborn, Hana said. Nari started working. Her hands moved fast. Injecting medicines. Sealing wounds. Stabilizing broken bones. You need surgery. Like 5 different surgeries. Right now. Later, Hana said. She tried to sit up. I need to see. You need to lie down and not die, Nari replied. But she helped Hana sit up anyway. Through the legs of the Marines around her, Hana could see the battle. It was brutal. The Marines were outnumbered. 14 mechs against 23 soldiers. But the Marines had surprise. Had anger. And they had learned from Hana's tactics. They didn't try to fight the mechs head-on. Instead, they used the terrain. Used the rubble. Split into small teams and hit from multiple angles. One team would draw a mech's attention while another team flanked it. They targeted weak points. Worked together. Made every shot count. A mech went down. Then another. The Marines were winning, but Thelvar wasn't joining the fight. He stood where Hana had left him, watching. His hand went to his helmet. He pulled it off. His face was pale blue, typical for Vryn, but his expression was all too human. Rage. Pure rage. You, he said. His voice carried across the battlefield. This is because of you. Always you. You were supposed to die at Crimson Nebula. Die here, but you keep surviving. You keep ruining everything. Borum stepped between them. Her rifle aimed at Thelvar's chest. Stand down. You're beaten. No, Thelvar said. This doesn't end until she's dead. He moved. Faster than Borum expected. His plasma blade came up. Borum fired, but he deflected the shots with his blade. The plasma bolts went wild. He closed the distance. Grabbed Borum's rifle. Ripped it from her hands. His other hand grabbed her helmet. Hana saw what was about to happen. Saw him preparing to twist. To break Borum's neck. No more, Hana said. She pushed Nari aside, stood up. Her legs shook but held. Captain, don't, Nari said. Hana ignored her. Limped forward. Pushed through the circle of Marines. They tried to stop her, but she kept moving. Thelvar saw her coming. He threw Borum aside. The captain hit the ground hard. Thelvar pointed his blade at Hana. Finally, he said, face me. No interruptions, no tricks. Just you and me. Just us, Hana agreed. She had no weapon. No armor, could barely stand. But she walked toward him anyway. The fighting around them slowed. Stopped. Both sides watched. This was it. The moment everything came down to. The human who wouldn't die. The Vryn commander who couldn't accept defeat. One of them would walk away. The other wouldn't. Thelvar attacked first. His blade came down in a killing arc. Hana sidestepped. Barely. The blade passed so close it burned her undersuit. She grabbed his wrist with both hands. Held on, he tried to shake her off. She held on tighter. Her broken fingers screamed in pain. She ignored it. You think you're special, Thelvar said. You think humans are special. You're not. You're weak, fragile, you break so easily. He twisted his arm, threw her off. She hit the ground. He raised his blade for the killing blow. You're right, Hana said. She stayed on the ground. Looked up at him. We are fragile. We do break easily. That's why we learn to fight smart instead of strong. She kicked his knee. The joint bent the wrong way. Vryn armor was strong, but it had to flex at the joints. Had to let him move. That flexibility was a weakness. Thelvar stumbled. Hana grabbed a piece of broken metal from the ground. Swung it at his other knee, hit hard. He fell, she rolled on top of him. Grabbed his blade arm. Pressed it down. He was stronger. The blade came closer to her face. She could feel the heat of it. We break, she said through gritted teeth. But we don't stay broken. She head-butted him. Her forehead hit his face. His nose broke. Blue blood sprayed. The blade wavered. We lose, she continued. Head-butted him again. But we don't stay lost. Again. His visor cracked completely. Pieces fell away. We die, she said. One more hit. His head snapped back. But we don't stay dead. The blade fell from his grip. Hana grabbed it. Reversed it. Pressed the point against his armor's power core. Right where it was weakest. 23 seconds, she said. That's how long you thought I was dead. Want to know what I learned in those 23 seconds? Thelvar stared at her. Blood ran from his broken nose. What? That humans are really bad at staying dead when someone still needs killing. She drove the blade home. The power core exploded. Not a big explosion. Just enough to fry the armor's systems. Thelvar's suit went dead, locked up. Trapped him inside. Hana stood up. Dropped the blade. Looked at the remaining Vryn mechs. They had stopped fighting. We're just watching. Your commander is defeated, she called out. Your ambush failed. Go home. Tell your leaders that humans don't scare easy. Tell them we're done being pushed around. For a moment, nothing happened. Then one mech took a step back. Then another. Then they were all retreating. Activating their cloaking systems. Disappearing into the sky, Hana watched them go. Then her legs gave out. She collapsed. Multiple hands caught her before she hit the ground. I got you, Borum said. We got you. Nari was there. Working again. Stay with us, Captain. Don't you dare die now. Not after all that. Wasn't planning on it, Hana said. Her voice was getting weak. Did we win? You won 23 seconds after they killed you, Borum said. That's got to be some kind of record. Hana tried to laugh. Coughed up blood instead. Get me to a ship. Need surgery. 5 of them, apparently. Already called it in, Borum said. Commander Yuna's ship is in orbit. Medical bay is ready. We're going to get you there. They lifted her carefully. Started carrying her toward the evac shuttles. Hana looked back at the plaza. At the burning mechs. At the bodies of Dabin, Mirai, Jiwon. At where Sunho had died. They didn't deserve this, she said quietly. No, Borum agreed. They didn't, but they got you out. Got you that chance to stand up. They'd say it was worth it. Maybe, Hana said. But I don't have to like it. The shuttle was waiting. They loaded her in. Nari hooked her up to medical monitors. The machine started beeping. The sounds weren't good. Hang on, Nari said. Just hang on. The shuttle lifted off. Through the window, Hana could see Terran 5 falling away. Could see the plaza getting smaller. The whole ambush site looked tiny from up here. Hard to believe so much had happened in such a small space. Above them, Commander Yuna's ship came into view. A massive vessel bristling with weapons. It had arrived too late to stop the ambush, but just in time to save her. The shuttle docked. Medical teams were waiting. They rushed Hana into surgery. She saw Yuna standing there. Her old friend. Her commander. They had served together for years. I'm sorry, Yuna said. We got here as fast as we could. You got here, Hana replied. That's what matters. Then the medical drugs hit. Everything went fuzzy. The last thing she heard was the doctor, Yunji, talking to her team. 47 different ways she should be dead. 47, I don't know how she's still breathing. She's human, Borum's voice replied. They don't know when to quit. Hana smiled as the darkness took her. Damn right they didn't. Somewhere far above the planet on a Vryn flagship, Sub-Commander Kreltok watched the footage. Watched Hana stand up at 23 seconds. Watched her fight. Watched her win. He played it again and again, trying to understand. Finally, he opened a secure channel to Vryn High Command. When they answered, he said 6 words that would change the war. The humans cannot be broken. Negotiate. Humans tried to kill her. 23 seconds later, she stood triumphant. Hana woke up 3 days later. The first thing she noticed was the absence of pain. That was wrong. She should be hurting. Should be drowning in pain from broken bones and burns and punctured lungs. She opened her eyes. White ceiling. Medical equipment. The steady beep of monitors. A hospital room. Welcome back, a voice said. Dr. Unji sat in a chair beside the bed. She looked tired. You've been out for 72 hours. We had to keep you sedated while your body healed. Hana tried to sit up. Couldn't. Her body was wrapped in medical gel and support braces. She could barely move. How bad? She asked. Bad, Unji replied. 3 broken ribs. Fractured left arm. 2nd and 3rd degree burns across 30% of your body. Punctured lung. Internal bleeding. Severe concussion. 14 bone fractures total. Enough damage that by all rights you should be dead. But I'm not. No, Unji said. You're not. Your medical file says you're stubborn. I think that's an understatement. The door opened. Commander Yuna walked in. She stopped when she saw Hana was awake. Relief washed across her face. You scared us, Yuna said simply. Sorry, Hana replied. Didn't mean to. Yes, you did, Yuna said. But she was smiling. She pulled up another chair. You stood up when you should have been dead. You fought when you should have been impossible to fight. You won when there was no way to win. Very you, what happened? Hana asked. After the surgery. After I passed out. Yuna's expression turned serious. A lot. You want the military report or the personal version? Personal. Borum and her Marines secured the plaza. Recovered the bodies. Dabin, Mireille, G1, Ambassador Sunho. We brought them home. They're being prepared for full military honors. Hana closed her eyes, felt the grief hit her. They were gone. Really gone? Not coming back, the Vryn? She asked. That's where it gets interesting, Yuna said. Within 6 hours of your fight, we received a communication from Vryn High Command. They want to negotiate. Formal peace talks. No tricks, no ambushes. Real negotiations. Hana opened her eyes. Why? Because of you, Yuna said. The footage of your fight went everywhere. Every species in the galaxy has seen it. The human who stood up after 23 seconds. Who fought impossible odds and won. You became a symbol. Not just to us. To everyone. I didn't ask for that. No one asked to be a symbol, Yuna replied. But sometimes the galaxy needs one anyway. The other species see you and think maybe humans aren't as weak as they thought. Maybe we're worth respecting. Worth negotiating with instead of pushing around. The door opened again. Captain Borum walked in. She carried a datapad. Captain Hana, she said formally. Then she grinned. Good to see you awake. Thought you were going to sleep through all the interesting parts. What interesting parts? Hana asked. Borum handed her the datapad. The galaxy's reaction to your fight. You've become famous. Well, more famous. There are songs about you. Actual songs. The Kellan Federation has offered a formal alliance with humanity. 3 other species have sent diplomatic envoys. And the news networks can't stop talking about the 23 seconds. Hana looked at the datapad. Saw footage of herself standing up in the plaza. The image had been captured from one of the Vryn mechs. It showed her broken and bleeding, but standing. The image was everywhere. On news sites, on social media, even on propaganda posters. I look terrible, she said. You look human, Yuna replied. That's the point. You look like someone who should be dead but refuses to die. Every human who sees that image feels pride. Every alien who sees it feels respect, or fear. I don't want people to fear humans, Hana said. Then they should respect us instead, Borum said. But the galaxy only offers 2 choices. Be feared or be walked on. You showed them we won't be walked on, so they fear us. And that fear brought them to the negotiating table. Hana was quiet for a moment. Processing. She had just wanted to survive, wanted to protect Ambassador Sunho and her team. She hadn't thought about the bigger picture, about what her survival would mean. When are the peace talks? She asked. 2 weeks, Yuna said. Human diplomat Taehyun is leading them. He's good, smart, but he specifically requested something. What? He wants you there, Hana laughed, then winced as it hurt her ribs. I can barely move. How am I supposed to attend peace talks? By the time the talks start, you'll be mobile, Yoonji said. Mostly. You'll be in a medical brace. Won't be doing any fighting, but you can sit in a chair and look intimidating. I don't look intimidating, Hana protested. All 3 women stared at her. Captain, Borum said, you stood up 23 seconds after being killed. You fought 14 war mechs with a broken body and won. The Vryn commander tried to execute you personally and you beat him with his own weapon. You are the definition of intimidating. She's right, Yuna added. The Vryn are coming to the peace talks because they're afraid of what humans can do. You're proof of what we can do. Your presence will remind them why they're negotiating instead of fighting. I'm a prop, Hana said. You're a symbol, Yuna corrected. There's a difference. A prop just sits there. A symbol inspires people, makes them believe, makes them try harder. You're that symbol. Over the next 2 weeks, Hana healed. Slowly. Painfully. But she healed. Yoonji kept her on strict medical protocols. Limited movement. Lots of rest. Medications that made her drowsy. But Hana refused to stay in bed. As soon as she could walk, she walked. As soon as she could move without the braces, she practiced. Pushed herself. Maybe too hard. But she couldn't help it. On the 10th day, she visited the memorial. They had built it in the ship's observation deck. 4 names. 4 faces, Dabin, Mirai, Jiwon, Sunho, her team. Her friends. Dead because they had been protecting her. I'm sorry, she said quietly. You deserved better than this. Deserved to see the peace you fought for. She placed her damaged armor at the base of the memorial. The suit was destroyed. Beyond repair. It had saved her life. But it was done now. She left it there as an offering. A reminder. Yuna found her there an hour later, stood beside her in silence, finally spoke. I have a new assignment for you, Yuna said, after the peace talks. After all this is over. If you want it, what assignment? Hana asked. Teaching, Yuna replied, at the Human Defense Academy, training the next generation, showing them how to survive, how to fight, how to stand up when everything says to stay down. I'm a soldier, Hana said. Not a teacher. You're both, Yuna replied. And right now we need teachers. We need someone who can show young soldiers what it means to be human, what it means to never give up. Hana thought about it, thought about going back to active combat, back to the front lines, but she also thought about Dabin and Mirai and Jiwon, young soldiers who had died following her orders. She could honor them by making sure the next generation was better prepared, better trained, better able to survive. Okay, she said. After the talks, I'll teach. Good, Yuna said. Because I already put in the transfer request. Hana almost laughed. Almost. You were sure I'd say yes? I know you, Yuna replied. You can't help but try to save people, even if it means teaching them instead of fighting beside them. The day of the peace talks arrived. Hana wore a formal uniform. Still had the medical brace under it. Still hurt when she moved. But she could walk, could sit, could look like a soldier who had survived impossible odds. The talks were held on a neutral station. Human delegates on one side, Vryn on the other. Dozens of other species watching. Everyone wanted to see this. The end of a war that had lasted 5 years. Taehyun led the human delegation. He was older, experienced. Had been negotiating with hostile species for decades. He saw Hana and nodded. Thank you for coming, he said quietly. Your presence matters. The Vryn delegation entered. Hana recognized Subcommander Kreltok. He was leading them. Thelvar was not present, probably in a Vryn prison. Or dead, she didn't know. Didn't care, Kreltok saw her. His eyes went wide. Then narrow. He looked like he wanted to say something. But he stayed silent. The talks began. Taehyun negotiated brilliantly. Pushed for reparations. For territory. For guarantees. The Vryn resisted. Pushed back. But every time they did, Taehyun would pause. Look at Hana. The Vryn would follow his gaze. See her sitting there. See the soldier who wouldn't die, and they would back down. Just a little. Just enough. The talks lasted 6 hours. By the end, they had an agreement. The war was over. Humanity had won. Not completely. Not perfectly. But enough. Enough to live. Enough to grow. Enough to be respected. As the delegates signed the treaty, Kreltalk approached Hana, stood before her. They looked at each other for a long moment. I watched the footage, he said finally. Watched you stand up. I still don't understand how. Humans don't know when to quit, Hana replied. It's our best trait. And our worst. It makes you dangerous, Kreltalk said. It makes us survivors, Hana corrected. There's a difference. He nodded slowly. Perhaps. I hope this peace holds. I hope we never have to test which of us is right. So do I, Hana said. He left. The treaty was signed. The war was over. Hana stood and walked to the window. Looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, humanity was celebrating. Celebrating peace. Celebrating survival. She thought about the 23 seconds. About standing up when she should have stayed down. About fighting when she should have been dead. Humans tried to kill her. 23 seconds later, she stood triumphant. 6 months after the peace treaty, Hana stood in front of her first class. The Human Defense Academy was on Earth, built into the mountains of what used to be called Korea. The training facility was state-of-the-art. Everything a soldier needed to learn how to survive. 30 cadets sat in the classroom, young, eager. They looked at her like she was something special, like she was a hero from the story she hated it. My name is Captain Hana, she said. I'm going to be your instructor for advanced combat tactics. Before we start, I need to make something clear. I'm not a hero. I'm just stubborn and lucky. Mostly stubborn. A cadet raised his hand. But Captain, you're the soldier who stood up after 23 seconds, who defeated Commander Thelvar, who ended the war. No, Hana said firmly. I'm the soldier who got her entire team killed, who failed to protect Ambassador Sunho, who nearly died because I walked into an obvious trap. Don't confuse survival with success. The classroom went quiet. They hadn't expected that, probably expected her to tell war stories, to brag about her victories. 4 people died that day, Hana continued. Lieutenant Dabin, Sergeant Mirai, Corporal Jiwan, Ambassador Sunho. They died because I didn't recognize the ambush soon enough. Didn't react fast enough. They died protecting me. She walked between the rows of desks, made eye contact with each cadet. That's what I'm going to teach you, she said. How to recognize ambushes. How to react faster. How to protect your team. And most importantly, how to stand up when everything says to stay down. Because the galaxy is dangerous. And if you want to survive it, you need to be more stubborn than it is. Over the next weeks, she trained them hard. Took them through scenarios. Combat simulations. Tactical problems. She pushed them until they broke. Then taught them how to put themselves back together. She showed them the footage from Terran 5. All of it. Not just the famous 23 seconds. She showed them the ambush. Showed them her team dying. Showed them her mistakes. Here, she pointed at the screen. This is where I should have recognized the trap. The streets were too empty. No civilian traffic. That's always a warning sign. And here, she continued, this is where I should have ordered retreat. But I was focused on the mission, on getting Ambassador Sunho to the talks. I ignored my instincts. The cadets watched in silence, saw their hero admitting failure, admitting mistakes. It was a hard lesson, but necessary. One cadet, a young woman named Hyeji, asked a question. But Captain, if you made all those mistakes, how did you win? I didn't give up, Hana replied simply. That's the secret. The galaxy doesn't care about your mistakes. It only cares whether you keep fighting after you make them. She taught them about the armor's emergency systems, about how to squeeze every second of power from dying equipment, about using terrain to fight larger enemies, about working as a team. But most importantly, she taught them about the mental side, about pushing through pain, through fear, through the voice that says to stay down. Your body will lie to you, she told them. It will tell you that you can't keep going, that you're too hurt, too tired, too broken. And sometimes your body is right. Sometimes you need to retreat, to heal, to survive another day. She paused, made sure they were listening, but sometimes, she continued, sometimes your body is wrong. Sometimes you have more left than you think. Sometimes you can take one more step, fire one more shot, stand up one more time. Learning the difference between those two situations will keep you alive. She took them through exercises, made them run until they couldn't run anymore, then made them run more, made them fight while exhausted, while hurt, while everything told them to quit. Some of them broke, started crying, started complaining. She let them break. Because once they broke, she could teach them how to put themselves back together stronger. Being a soldier isn't about never breaking, she told them. It's about breaking and choosing to fight anyway. One afternoon, Commander Yuna visited the academy. She watched Hana teaching, watched the cadets struggling through a combat course, watched Hana pushing them past their limits. After the class ended, they sat in Hana's office. "You're good at this," Yuna said. "The cadets respect you, fear you a little, but respect you." "They shouldn't," Hana replied. "I'm just teaching them what I learned the hard way." "That's exactly why they should respect you," Yuna said. "You paid for those lessons with blood, with loss. Now you're giving them those lessons for free, so they don't have to pay the same price." Hana was quiet for a moment. "Do you ever wonder if it was worth it? The war, the deaths, all of it. Every day," Yuna admitted. "But then I think about what we accomplished. We survived. We proved that humans deserve a place in the galaxy. We earned respect. That matters." "Does it matter more than Dabin's life?" Hana asked quietly. "More than Mirei's? Chiwan's? Sanho's?" "No," Yuna said honestly. "But they chose to fight, chose to sacrifice. Honoring that choice means teaching others to survive, to fight smarter, to come home. That's what you're doing." After Yuna left, Hana sat alone in her office, thought about her students, about Dabin and Mirei and Jiwan, about what it all meant. Her terminal beeped. Incoming message. She opened it. It was from the Vryn embassy, from Sub-Commander Kreltok, Captain Hana. The message read, "I hope this message finds you well. I am writing to inform you that Commander Thelvar has been tried by Vryn Military Court. He has been found guilty of unauthorized military action and murder of a diplomatic envoy. He has been sentenced to life imprisonment." The message continued. "I also wanted to thank you. The footage of your fight has become required viewing for all Vryn military commanders, not as propaganda, but as a lesson. You taught us that underestimating humans is fatal, that assuming victory is dangerous. That respect must be earned, not demanded. Your cadets are fortunate to have you as an instructor. I suspect the next generation of human soldiers will be even more formidable than the current one. The galaxy should be concerned, or perhaps grateful. It depends on whether we remain at peace. With respect, Sub-Commander Kreltok." Hana read the message twice, then saved it. It was strange. Getting a message from someone who had tried to kill her, who had watched his commander try to execute her. But war made strange friendships sometimes. The months passed. Hana's first class of cadets graduated. They were good. Better than good. They had learned the lessons well. Learned how to survive, how to fight smart, how to stand up. At the graduation ceremony, Cadet Hieji gave a speech. She was the top of her class, had earned it through hard work and determination. 6 months ago, Hieji said, we came here thinking we knew what it meant to be a soldier. We thought it was about being strong, being brave, being unbeatable. Captain Hana taught us differently. She taught us that being a soldier is about being stubborn, about standing up when you should stay down, about fighting when there's no logical reason to keep fighting. She taught us that humans aren't the strongest species, or the fastest, or the smartest, but we're the most stubborn, and sometimes that's all you need. Hieji looked directly at Hana. Thank you, Captain, for teaching us how to survive, for showing us what it means to be human. The cadets stood and saluted, 30 of them, her students. Ready to face the galaxy, Hana saluted back. Felt pride. These soldiers would do better than she had, would make fewer mistakes, would save more lives. That's what teaching was about, making the next generation better than the last. After the ceremony, she visited the memorial again, the one for Dabin, Mirei, Jiwon, and Sunho. She did this every month, came to remember, to honor, to promise that their deaths meant something. 30 more soldiers graduated today, she told the memorial, because of you. Because you gave me the chance to stand up, to survive, to teach. Thank you. She stood there for a long time, remembering. Then she turned and walked away. She had another class starting next week. More cadets to train, more lessons to teach. A year after the peace treaty, The galactic news networks did a special report. 1 year since the famous 23 seconds. They showed the footage again. Showed Hana standing up, fighting, winning. They interviewed her, asked her about that day, about what she was thinking when she stood up. I was thinking about my team, she said honestly, about how they died protecting others, about how I couldn't let their sacrifice be meaningless. So I stood up. Because that's what humans do. We stand up. The interviewer asked if she would do it again. If she had to, Hana thought about it. Thought about the pain, the fear, the close brush with death. Yes, she said finally, I would. Because someone has to stand up. Someone has to show the galaxy that humans don't quit. Might as well be me. The interview ended. The news networks played it everywhere. The footage of her standing up was shown again. And again. It never got old. Never stopped inspiring people. But Hana didn't watch it. She was busy. Had a class to teach. Had students who needed to learn how to survive. She stood in front of them. 30 new faces, young and eager and naive. My name is Captain Hana, she said, and I'm going to teach you how to survive when the galaxy tries to kill you. A cadet raised his hand. Is it true you stood up 23 seconds after being killed? Yes, Hana said. And I'm going to teach you how to do it in 22.